It's a highway with no toll, no markup, at whatever speed. There are no limits other than those of the machine you're piloting and that you must tame. Welcome to the Trade Winds Highway. We're hauling ass! All 25 knots. At the end of the first week of the 8th Vendée Globe, it is not surprising to find Armel Leclerc and Banque Populaire leading, a 60-feet motohull of the latest design equipped with foils. By contrast, and more surprising, is to see Vincent Rioux stay close by with his PRB straight keel, which came out of the shipyards in 2010. We passed the Canary Islands during the night and are heading towards Cape Verde. So the start of the race was very tough because we didn't get much sleep. On board PRB, we're doing pretty well since we're second since yesterday. Second behind Armel Leclerc. It's kind of nice to be in sight with the competition. It allows us to calibrate somehow. There are moments when he goes fast, and then moments when he's not as fast. It's a way to keep up the pace. Vincent Rioux makes no secret. It's with an abundance of energy he keeps up the pace, to the extent that in the night of November 10th, he'll even overtake Armel Leclerc for several hours. 3,000 kilometers away, Didac Costa brings up the rear and crosses Spain's western point. The Catalan from Barcelona had been forced to turn back to Les Sables d'Olonne for repairs. Hi. We're back in the match after 4 days stop. I'm very motivated. On the way to a world around. Here we go. This end of the week is also about another comeback. We had left off Alex Thompson, put out with his hazardous option at Cape Finisterre. He had accounted more than 70 miles delay on Armel Leclerc. We find him pepped up, gleaning mile after mile to catch on, and rather straightforward about his strategy.
Been making miles on the competition. Got the lead two ahead of me. They're about 50 miles ahead, and then the other group of four are down here on my beam. So they're going pretty well. I've been going a little bit faster in the last day or so I'm pretty happy about that. And just heading south, trying to get to the equator, get to the doldrums as quick as possible, but still going to have to decide what I do about the Cape Verdes. Do I go leave them on the port side? Do I go through them, or there's even the option to leave them on my starboard side? So it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out.
Hugo Boss's skipper is hunting down a small group among whom features Paul Meillat and Morgan Lagravière. Trained at the 49er school, then at the Place Figaro, the two buddies sail together. So what's more normal than having a little chat? Starboard port side in the middle of the Atlantic with my friend Polo. Woo! Safran to SMA. Do you reach me, Morgan? Happy to see you, it's great. Reminds me of the days of the 40. We're doing the same in the middle of the Atlantic. It's incredible. All seems good in the best of worlds. The 29 competitors are still in the race when the first great damage occurs.
Le mast est cassé, donc
the mast broke.
le haut du mât,
The masthead.
une rupture, je sais pas encore trop quoi,
I don't know what else,
qui a entraîné une
which
deuxième
caused
rupture,
another
et-
split. And Tanguy can't stand the idea of giving up, so he maintains a mad hope.
Bon bah vous voyez,
Well, you see,
tête de mât,
the masthead broke right here.
je suis pas très loin
I'm
du
not
Cap
far
Vert,
from Cape
je
Verde,
vais essayer
so I'll try and stop
d'arriver
there, see if there are any
et de voir
solutions
s'il y a des
because
solutions, parce que,
it's too darn stupid.
c'est trop
Gosh darn it. Other troubles from Jean-Pierre Dix and Kojiro Shiraishi's were brought to our knowledge. Nothing too nasty. A torn head sail for the Japanese competitor, And there, you tell yourself that extreme oriental wisdom can help you put up with any twist of fate. It's too bad. I lost a sail. I was going to use a lot in the South Seas. We're going to overcome this drama with love, courage, and perseverance. And even under these conditions, I must keep smiling to accomplish my world around. First damages for the boats, and first injuries for the sailors, too.
Bon, ça envoie pas mal, hein?
Wow, it's pretty rough.
Ça envoie tellement.
And so, I got tricked as I was waking up. The boat stopped on a wave right when I was getting up. So, I fell forward and hit the chart table.
Le coin de la table à cartes. Du coup, je me suis ouvert un peu la pommette.
So I bruised my cheekbone here.
Mais bon, ça va. Ouais, j'ai pris quand même un bon.
It's okay. It was a strong blow, but it's all right.
Ça va.
On the seventh day of the race, the least that can be said is that the regatta is raging. Armel Leclerc, who set some distance between he and his pursuers, is still ahead. But Alex Thompson went into overdrive with a figure that could be considered disconcerting for any average yachtsman. 479 miles, nearly 900 kilometers in 24 hours. In less than 2 days, he jumped from the 9th to the 2nd place.
Just going past the first of the Cape Verde Islands. I've forgotten the name of it. I'm only a couple of miles off it. Haven't really lost the wind so far. All is good. Pleased to be in second. Not sure I'm going to be in second for long. We'll see after I clear these islands. I'll have to a couple of jibes are done. That's it for now.
A little earlier, Alex Thompson was telling us about the different options he was considering. He finally chose the best way between two islands of Cape Verde's archipelago, and his boldness paid off. He wasn't slowed down by volcanic rocks, and in the end, he takes the lead of the race to everyone's great dismay.
So that was a good crossing through the Cape Verde Islands. Worked out very well for me. I was surprised that nobody else did the same thing.
Interesting point, which deserves a question. Must we assume the others didn't want to take any chances? Did they fear the archipelago's becalm? We'll never know. What we learned is that Armel Leclerc had a slight power loss. Yeah, since Cape Verde, I'm not too right. Not in the right flow, let's say. Until Cape Verde, always perfect. And then I hit a slump. It's part of the game, you know. There'll be others. And others will have some too. So I know a lot can happen on the way to Les Sables d'Olonne. A way that crosses first the equator, before which stands a great crossing named the doldrums. This zone between the African and the American continent, where northern and southern hemisphere trade winds crash into each other, forming a climatic hodgepodge, going from the most violent rains to the calmest, flattest winds. It's a battlefield. We're well into the doldrums with bloody clouds. Look at these bloody dark clouds. Gotta watch out.
C'est pas très fun depuis ce matin.
Not much fun since this morning. Wind turned 180 degrees and we're in a dead zone. You want to see a foil that's good for nothing?
Eh ben c'est ça.
Here, nothing at all except drag in the water. That's all it does. Mindelo Bay in Cape Verde's archipelago. Tanguy de la Motte is at anchor, escalating session to evaluate the extent of the damages. It's all torn. It's no use trying. That's it. When reason wins over desire, even if he hasn't officially given up, the race seems to have come to an end for Tanguy, who decided to turn back to Les Sables d'Olonne. At the head, no one's dragging on. Alex Thompson didn't beat around the bush and is tumbling down towards the equator.
It's been a fantastic day today. I think that's the easiest doldrum crossing I have ever had. As I get further south, I'll have more wind, and the wind will be further left, which means it's more reachy. I can ease the sails and go faster. So,
now about 60 miles behind the leader, the first pursuers, slightly groggy, are named Armel Leclerc and Vincent Rioux. and they're navigating at sight. So this morning, we came out of the doldrums, and oh surprise, Banque Populaire. A pleasant image, which shows the level of the competition. Yesterday, we had Edmond de Rothschild, Leeuwin. We're approaching the equator, which we should cross tomorrow. We'll be in the southern hemisphere tomorrow evening. Head upside down. We're going to try to catch up with our friend Alex, the Brit. It's the beginning of the crunch. We can't rewrite history, but between the French and the Brits, there's still a question of supremacy over the oceans. We have to recognize that at the crossing of the equator, it is one of Her Gracious Majesty's sailors who's one step ahead, and whose name is already engraved. With 9 days, 7 hours, Alex Thompson set the best laptop reference between Les Sables d'Olonne and the equator. 28 hours less than Jean Le Cam in 2004. Three hours and some gusts later, it is Armand Leclerc and Vincent Rioux' turn to enter the South Atlantic. We're about to cross the equator. Hot, we're now in the southern hemisphere on the way to see the austral summer. And that's one of the great things about a world around. For the group ahead, the follow-up should come soon, very soon. A low pressure forming south of the Brazilian coastlines could reduce the effects of Saint Helene's High and allow the leaders to cross Cape of Good Hope in record time. Far, very far from here in the northern hemisphere, at a much slower pace, we enjoy the thought that the race can be experienced differently. I often hear, isn't it frustrating to be at the tail end of the fleet? No, it isn't frustrating. First, I have no idea where the fleet is. I haven't made any markings of the fleet since the start. I know it's ahead, there's no doubt. But where exactly? I don't know. Why don't I want to find out their position? Because I know my competitive spirit. If I start looking where the others are, I'm going to push, I'm going to force the boat. And it's not the purpose. There'll only be one winner of the Vendée Globe. One only winner. Then there'll be the ones who finish the Vendée Globe. Then the others. My objective is to end the Vendée Globe, not to beat such and such. It's to finish the Vendée Globe. If reasoning ascertains the philosopher, beauty characterizes the aesthete. Not content to be wise, Kojiro Shiraishi films the nighttime like no other.